So we are recording, which means is the official beginning of class. I'm sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late, ladies. We have Amanda and Chiquita here. I know Sydney has not made it in yet. Hopefully maybe she will. This is Monday of week 2 of business communications. It's a small class, so we get to do things a little bit differently here. It's so glad to see you, ladies. The first thing we're going to do is jump off. Let me pull it up. And always when I share my screen, it moves everything else around on the other screens. It's just completely a horrible thing. I have to rearrange, but share sound. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Sorry, I was looking the other way. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Well, let's go ahead and play. Let's go ahead and play this video. And go have an ad. Okay, now one of the rules around my house, or not really, it's one of the unspoken rules, is when my wife and I are having a talk, we have to actually, have a discussion over something. The question I usually try to ask is this you just want to talk problem, or is this you want me to fix it problem? Okay, so we have to initiate, what it is right off the bat, because, as a guy, my first thought is, well, let's just fix whatever it is, but that's not the way it works. So I've learned over the last 3 decades that the first question is this a discussion, or is this something you want me to fix, so I can act appropriately afterwards? Otherwise, I'm going to act wrongly. I'll still probably act wrongly, but at least I'll be closer than I need to. So, and that's how I'm going to segue into this video here.
Just there's all this pressure, and sometimes it feels like it's right up on me, and I can just feel it, like literally feel it in my head, and it's relentless, and I don't know if it's going to stop. I mean, that's the thing that scares me the most, is that I don't know if it's ever going to stop.
Yeah. Well, you do have a nail in your head.
It is not about the nail.
Are you sure?
You're trying to fix it.
No, I'm not trying to fix it. I'm just pointing out that maybe the nail is causing...
You always do this. You always try to fix things when what I really need is for you to just listen.
Yeah, see, I don't think that is what you need. I think what you need is to get the nail
See, you're
out.
not even listening now.
Okay, fine. I will listen. Fine.
It's just... sometimes it's like there's this achy... I don't know what it is. And I'm not sleeping very well at all. And all my sweaters are snagged. I mean, all of them.
That sounds...
All my sweaters are snagged.
Thank you. Ow!
Oh,
on. You would just...
Don't...
Try to see things my way, so I have to keep on talking till I can go on. We can work it out. We can work it
oh
out.
my God. Oh, my God.
So anyway, so it's not about the nail, not about the nail at all. So I can never really get through this one. I mean, it's just I don't, I'm sure I'm on the right thing. Okay, there we go. So part of the step 1 of this specific discussion. I'm sorry. I really, every single time, I can't have a hard time getting through this.
When she says all my sweaters are snagged, that was the best part.
Oh,
Okay, so are you two in a relationship or married or
Yes.
right now?
Yes.
Okay. So you've had this conversation
Yeah,
or some variation of it.
Yes.
for sure.
Usually with my wife, she does not like to take medicine at all, ever. And so the conversation, no, it's just I don't feel good and my head hurts. Yes, ibuprofen. But so my internet connection is unstable. So it says identify and describe a miscommunication you have had with a fellow college student, friend, family member, coworker, or representative of a company in which you have dealt. Find the source or cause of the communication, and then we're just going to talk about it. So who's first, Amanda or Shakita?
So the question is a communication, the
Yes,
miscommunication.
Describe a miscommunication.
Okay, so it's so many, so
Right.
it's hard to narrow it down to one because oh,
I can go first if you want.
okay, you go ahead. I'm thinking.
Last week I was scheduled, like about 2 weeks ago, to take my certification exam with AAPC. And I realized that my ID was expired. So I went and got it renewed, but they give you that dumb temporary piece of paper now. And I had contacted Examity, I think is the name of the place, to see if they would accept that. And whatever person I spoke to on the phone said they would. And then when I got to my certification exam, they were like, we definitely won't take that. And I said, well, I spoke with someone on the phone a few days ago and they said they would. And they told me, well, unless you've got proof of that conversation, we can't accept that. So I ended up losing an exam attempt.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, I'm so sorry.
it's okay.
That is
Oh.
terrible.
Yeah, I know.
So what are you going to have to do? I'm curious now. What are you going to
Well,
have to do?
they wouldn't even give me the time of day. AAPC wouldn't, to when I was trying to contact them to discuss it. So I went through the Better Business Bureau. And now I'm in the middle of like a battle with them through there. And I'm not going to win. Everything I've read about them says that you're not going to win. So I'm just going to have to pay $400 and get new exam attempts.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is.
Because I
And-
told
and
them, I said, I don't have somebody standing behind me writing transcripts of every conversation I have, but now I know how you can afford to. So I'm definitely not winning.
Oh,
So yeah, and they would not take that. They won't take the temporary ID.
No, even though it's exactly like the ID, just a paper version. In this, I feel like if it's issued from the state,
right.
it's supposed to be official.
I would
Oh.
almost move that up the chain of command. I would just start,
Yes. Too.
causing waves until you're a thorn in somebody's side.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do. Because as soon as the Better Business Bureau, I involved them, I immediately was given a response. As before, they didn't even reply to any emails that I had sent or anything. I couldn't find
And-
anyone to talk to.
And what is the name of the organization again?
AAPC for my medical billing and coding certification.
Okay, that's what that is. All right, that's because you're you're one of Misty students,
Yep.
Misty and Melissa and Kayla, and
Yeah, I
Alright,
love Melissa. I wish I
she
could
is
have
really
had
a
her
great
more.
person.
Yeah.
I do. I love her to death. She's I only get to, I see her once or 1 or 2 days a week up in the office, but she's always awesome. Plus, with Bob and I being a couple of the very few males actually there,
Yeah,
so we get taken care of pretty good. There's always donuts and food, and
yeah.
they've even been known to decorate my office for a holiday. I'll come back in, there's like decorations, like, oh, cool. Uh, so yeah, one of the advantages of working in a primarily female business, because there are things that aren't quite as fun. But yeah, I was just looking at AAPC, and so they're a national organization, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So they're
Yeah.
pretty big. I wonder, and I know we're kind of here on the clock, but I was going to do some quick research here. They have 200,000 people in membership. Their headquarters are in Salt Lake City.
Yep.
That's where I'd start calling. I'd start going to Salt Lake City and be like, hey, because that's
A lot of
and some of
money.
these, yeah, it is a lot of money. I mean, it may not be for them, but for someone who's trying to, improve their lives,
Right.
because how much was it again?
400 for one exam.
That is
Ooh.
exactly what I thought I heard you say, but I just wanted to make sure my ears weren't.
Yeah, it was less, but this year they just raised the price again.
Oh, well, that's awesome. That's cool of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So, and they don't give you a partial refund. They don't just,
No.
they're just like, hey, you missed it. So,
Yeah, they're like, you forfeited that.
okay. So, and the questions on I don't know if this even, because I don't even know if that was a miscommunication. I mean, I guess it is someone just telling you,
I
someone
feel
on
like
the
it
other
was
phone
with
telling you what
the
you want to hear.
examity people. But then AAPC comes in and they like get to make the ruling decision of everything. So
So
Did you speak with a lawyer?
no.
Just asking a question? I would speak with a lawyer asking a question.
Yeah.
Not-
See if that's even like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes. See
Actually.
what grounds you have, because you have paid the money
Right.
and you're denying the opportunity to take the test. So,
Right. And I called because I was worried it might not work.
ask the lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do
And
that
then did they give you a policy and procedure form to fill out?
They gave like a thing that you read through and agree to, but it doesn't say anything about not accepting a temporary. It just says a state issued ID.
Okay, but then I would take that and show that to a lawyer. You do have ID.
Yeah.
It's just that you was waiting for the hard copy, but you
Right.
have ID. So that's why I would ask a lawyer, what is the process? Because it's not right. They are railroading you into paying more money. That is not good.
I know. And when I started reading into it, there's a lot of people that I think they like to do that often.
Talk to a lawyer.
Yeah, I will. Thank you for recommending that.
Yeah, well, my issue is that I am opening a childcare at in my home, and I have to fill out background check information for myself and my mom because I'm doing it in her house. So I filled out all the forms, and they're stating that my mother's name is different on her fingerprint, which is the only name that she ever had. And I put it on there, and they said it's the extra E in her name. And I said, where did that come from? This is OBI. So I'm like, now what do I do? Do I go get another fingerprint? And they were like, no, just resubmit the form. So I submitted the form, come to find out that my worker who's supposed to come out says she can't read it. So I have to do it again. So this process takes months at a time. It's not like they do it the next day. It takes a whole month. So I'm asking, what is it? Is it a communication problem? Because what do I do now? Because I have to wait on them to view the form. There's no violent crimes and no sex offense. So that's where I'm having my issue right now with communication. I don't understand.
And you said that was with the OSBI, right?
Yes.
Well, as we all know, that when you deal with government agencies, they definitely have you have the advantage on you because they can just do whatever they want. I mean, of course, you can file complaints, you can do that, but as I've noticed with a lot of government agencies, is what you do is you'll file a complaint and they will investigate themselves and find they did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that, but so some of these questions here. Let me go back to. I stopped the share. Let me go back to share my screen here. Those are pretty interesting. I mean, y'all brought your A game tonight, didn't you? So it was first question, was it due to some type of interference? I don't, well, I mean, with yours, Shakita, and you faded out on me a little bit, but it was your mom's name. Okay, so I was going to ask, on the form, it had one too many E's.
No, I don't know where I went to the fingerprint office. She felt that he looked at her license, saw the name was the exact same. But when it got to the background check, it was an extra E in her name. So now it's an alias. So now my form have to have that name on the form. It's an alias. And I said, oh my God, I don't understand. Where did E come from? I know I didn't put it on there. I looked at my forms. They are on there correct. But when it got to background check, it changed. So that delayed my visit from my worker. So now I have to wait another month. Now it's been 2 months, going on 3 months to do the process of this daycare.
That is, so let's see, was it due to some type of interference? Who knows? Problem with encoding. It sounds like a problem with someone just, I have no idea, fat finger in it when they did all your paperwork, and then you end up,
Yes. Add extra E in there. So now she has an alias.
That's just alias. The only thing I can think of, and that was from back in the old days. Everybody remember the old, what was a comedian? Was it Ron White? I think Amanda remember him, and he got in trouble when he was a kid, and he told him they called him Tater Salad, and so many years later they go to arrest him, and that was his alias, was Tater Salad. He got into the computer bank some way and just followed him all the years. And it seems funny, but these mistakes can cost us
A lot.
time. And Chiquita's time, and with Amanda, money.
Money.
And money with in your case, and time in your case as well. I mean, because it takes time. If you have to repay that, or you have to pay that again, that's going to take time for you to come up with another $400. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you don't just have it laying around in the ashtray of your car or anything.
Definitely not.
It's under the bed. Under the mattress.
Well, that may be the safest place to put your money if you see how banks are going badly now. But
that's scary.
And that is scary, because if you're with a bigger bank, that you might get a bailout. Well, I'm sure, me personally, I don't have more than $250,000 in one account, because I don't have more than $250,000. But so everybody's insured by the FDIC up to $250,000. But if you're in these smaller banks, these rural banks who deal with a lot of people like farmers and whatnot, who have a lot of money in the bank, not because they have a lot of money, but they have of credit, what happens to those guys when the bank, goes bad? Because this is all a problem. This is a matter of dominoes falling from one to the other. We print too much money, and the government spends too much money, which causes inflation, which causes the Feds to raise interest rates, which means these people who are invested in these bonds can't get their money back out of them. Okay. And then there's a run on the bank, and then they don't have enough money to handle the run, and so bank collapses. And this all happens all outside of our purview. We're just sitting here trying to use our debit cards and pay our electric bill and go get groceries at Walmart.
Right.
So and Amanda looks like she had something.
So will some people just not get their money? Is that how that will work?
Well, in this Silicon Valley Bank SVB, the FDIC has decided to make sure that everybody who has money in the accounts are made whole. So even if you have over the $250,000 limit, they're going to go ahead and ensure that. Now, if you're an investor in the bank, if you invested money in the bank as an investor, then you're going to lose your money. Investors are going to lose their money.
I didn't even know you could invest into banks.
Oh yeah, you can. And you don't know who it hits, because if you have a mutual fund, if you have a 401k, your money may be invested in some bank somewhere.
Oh, that's
Right.
crazy.
So that money just gets gone.
The 401ks you?
Yeah, I mean, if you have any of your 401k in a bank that goes badly, I had a few choice words I had to skip past. Yeah, you could lose that part of your investment.
That's awful.
So we don't need to use banks anymore.
Because of inflation, we're all being, yeah. And because of inflation, we've had what, 13% inflation, core inflation over the last 2 years. So, that's basically a tax on the working class, on you and me and everybody else who's just trying to survive out there. Suddenly everything costs more.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a lot more. I used to complain when I go to Walmart, because I used to tell everybody, man, I go to Walmart for hair conditioner and it costs me $100. And then I forget conditioner.
Yeah.
But now it's like 150, $200 every time I hit that door.
That's why I don't go to Walmart.
And it's I try not to go anywhere to go shopping.
You got to go to all the other stores. You can't go to Walmart.
I live in Omogi. We only have 2 stores, Walmart and Cox.
Oh, you guys can have a Dairy Queen too.
We do have a Dairy Queen and a Brahms.
Whoa. Yeah, living it up now.
Oh, it's wonderful. So let's go back to so what lesson can be learned from these miscommunications? I can tell Amanda, and this is something I got taught a long time ago, which was whenever you speak to someone on the phone, you get name, you get an employee number, and you write it. I have little sticky notes. I jot notes. I talked to Amanda at 7 p.m. and her employee number was 617, and I talked to her, on 320, and I jot all this down.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because I've been burned.
Yeah, because when they told me, they were like, do you have proof of that? And I said, no, it was a phone conversation. Like, how do I even show proof of that?
And the other way is always use emails, right?
Right.
Always confirm over emails. And you can do that at work as well. Now, not so much where I'm at now, but I've had plenty of jobs where, your boss would tell you something, you'd have a conversation. I would instantly go back to my desk and go, dear boss, just to confirm our conversation today, the way you wanted this handled was yada, 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 boom. And then make them confirm or change it over email. That way, you know, because bad things happen and people will cover their own rear rather than cover yours.
Yeah.
So if you've never seen any other underneath the bus, what about you? I don't know what lesson can be learned from yours, Shakita, except, you know,
I just resubmitted the form with the alias.
yeah, with the alias. Oh, I'm gonna add, what is your mom's name? How many E's does she have?
1 E, but her name is Thralita. And so it's only 1 E, but they spelled it with 2 E's instead of 1 E.
Okay, and so are y'all from Puerto Rico or Cuba or
No,
okay,
no, she's from Tulsa.
Tulsa?
And
Okay,
it's just, I just had to redo it. I think it's a ploy to discourage, is what I believe. To discourage the opening of daycares, because it's been a flux of opening of daycares within the last 6 months. It's been like 5,000 they have opened. So they're
wow.
trying to discourage daycares because you get grant money, and people are using the grant money for other things instead of for the daycare. So I didn't get any grant money. I'm just waiting to open the daycare. Then I can apply for the grant, but you can come see my daycare because it's set up. I have everything set up. So I just need
So,
her to come.
oh, go ahead.
I just need her to come out, do a walkthrough and say, okay, you official. Everything's intact. So that's all I'm waiting on. And I can't keep kids until she come give me the permit. And I have kids waiting.
Yeah, well, yeah, and daycare is expensive, and there's always a waiting list. I know my youngest grandson, he's in daycare until school starts again. You know, in was it August, he'll start pre-K. But until then, you know, he's in daycare, and number one's expensive, and number two, you know, you're lucky to get into one.
Yes, yes. So I
So I'm
had
sure
one
you
of
have
those-
kids just backed up.
Well, a friend of mine who works for the state, who does foster care, she give the kids to the homes. She's the the worker, and she told me, I need you to let me know when you open, because I have kids that need daycare. They can't find any daycare. So I was like, okay, whenever she come walk through, whenever she decide to come through, then I can start.
So what do you have? And I'm just curious here. What do you do to start open up a daycare? I mean, I'm sure you have to have, you know, I mean, what are some of the things you have to do?
Well, you got to get background check, your fingerprint background check. You have to do those legal things. First, you fill out all the forms, get your home ready, like set up your centers in your home, and that's about it. Make sure your smoke detectors and alarms are, are set. And you're actually able to keep a kid in your home legally. Is pretty much what you need. Well, everything is set up. I'm legal. Everything's good. The home is good. I don't know what else. I got a backyard with a fence around it. Toys is in the backyard. I'm ready. She just got to come give me the paper.
What about you, Amanda? Is this stopping your employment?
Yes.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah, because I
So
can't get, without the certification, nobody's really gonna hire me. I mean, if you're lucky, someone will be like, oh, we'll hire you while you work on that, but not realistic, really, unless you've already
Right.
been with a company.
So you have got to wait. So you've already spent your money. Now you've got to wait to spend more money or hash this out with them so you can take the exam so you can go to work and earn money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm probably going to have to, because I've been trying to not get a job that's not, you know, I don't want to go do something that's not what I've been working towards just to turn around and leave it. But now I'm more than likely going to have to
Right.
do that while I wait.
So you have to go be a cashier or something until you can go
Well,
to
there's
work at
this
Quick Trip. I don't know.
garden store that opens up in the summer by my house. So I'm trying to get a job there because they want someone to come water their plants every morning, like at 6. So
Is there any
Wow.
way you can take it somewhere else? Is that the only place?
yeah,
No.
yeah.
And
Like
that,
there's
and that,
another organization, but everything I've studied has been all AAPC based. And they're the best to get certified through because their certification is one of the more requested by employers.
Is there any place in Oklahoma City?
No, it all still goes through them.
Oh,
Yeah.
and you'll find that a lot with these accreditation agencies. Like we at this school, we have ACCSE, which is our accreditation agency, and they pretty much have complete control over our accreditations, and they can remove and make rules just at their whim.
Mm.
oh,
You know, they've done that just lately because we're in the middle of the accreditation process, and so they've flipped the rules back and forth on us a few times. Just kind of, it's what they do, and you become just like you are, Chiquita. You have to do their paperwork and do it their way. Otherwise it won't be accepted, and you can't open your daycare, or you won't get your exam taken for NBC. So they kind of have you over kind of have your arm twisted behind your back,
right.
and best, and that's and no matter how careful you are, and that's one of those things when we get back to our communication part, is no matter how carefully you try to communicate, how carefully you try to do everything, some miscommunication can happen and it throws it all, in just disarray.
Right.
But as you know, Amanda, it's not about the nail. We froze up.
Mm.
I think this wind has caused me to have internet problems. So anyway, well, let's look at another video here for about 5 minutes, and then we'll talk about a couple other things, and we can get out of here.
Okay.
Everybody can see. Make sure we can share sound. Everybody can see. Let's go.
So, one way of conceptualizing yourself is that you're one speck of dust among 7 billion. And when you conceptualize yourself that way, you might think, well, what difference does it make what I say or do? And that's actually quite convenient for you, because if it doesn't matter what you say or do, then you don't have any responsibility and you can do whatever you want. The price you pay for that is a bit of nihilism, but if you don't have to shoulder any responsibility, that's a small price to pay. That's the underground motivation for nihilism. But the other way of looking at it, and this is actually the accurate way of looking at it, is that you're in a network. You're a node in a network, and so you can do a little bit of arithmetic very rapidly and just figure out how powerful you are. You know 1,000 people. You're going to know more than that over the course of your life, but let's say 1,000 for the sake of argument for now. They know 1,000 people. That means that you're one person away from 1,000,000 people and two persons away from 1,000,000,000 people. And you're the center of that network. And now the way networks work is that information propagates in a network manner. So don't underestimate the power of your speech. Now, you know, Western culture is phallogocentric. Let's say it. Okay, so we'll say, yeah, that's just fine. That's exactly what it is. It's predicated on the idea of the logos, that the logos is the sacred element of Western culture. And what does that mean? It means that your capacity for speech is divine. It's the thing that generates order from chaos and then sometimes turns pathological order into chaos when it has to. Don't underestimate the power of truth. There's nothing more powerful. Now, in order to speak what you might regard as the truth, you have to let go of the outcome. You have to think, all right, I'm going to say what I think, stupid as I am, biased as I am, ignorant as I am. I'm going to state what I think as clearly as I can, and I'm going to live with the consequences no matter what they are. Now, the reason you think that, that's an element of faith. The idea is that nothing brings a better world into being than the stated truth. Now, you might have to pay a price for that, but that's fine. You're going to pay a price for every bloody thing you do and everything you don't do. You don't get to choose to not pay a price. You get to choose which poison you're going to take. That's it. So if you're going to stand up for something, stand up for your truth. It'll shape you because people will respond and object and tell you why you're a fool and a biased moron and why you're ignorant. And then if you listen to them, you'll be just much less like that the next time you say something. And if you do that for 5 years, you'll be so damn tough and articulate and able to communicate and withstand pressure that you won't even recognize yourself. And then you'll be a force to contend with. And you don't get to wait, and it's almost impossible to provide people with enough protection so that they feel safe to speak. Okay, so we'll address that directly. It is not safe to speak, and it never will be. But the thing you got to keep in mind is that it's even less safe not to speak, right? It's a balance of risks. It's like you want to pay the price for being who you are and stating your mode of being in the world, or do you want to pay the price for being a bloody serf, one that's enslaved him or herself? Well, that's a major price, man. That thing unfolds over decades, and you'll just be a miserable worm at the end of about 20 years of that, right? No self-respect, no power, no ability to voice your opinions, nothing left but resentment because everyone's against you, because of course you've never stood up for yourself. It's like, say what you think carefully, pay attention to your words. It's a price you want to pay if you are willing to believe that truth is the cornerstone of society. And in the most real sense, if you're willing to take that leap, then tell the truth and see what happens. And nothing better could possibly happen to you. There'll be ups and downs, and there'll be pushback, and there'll be controversy and all of that, but it doesn't matter. The truth is what redeems the world from hell, and that's the truth. And we saw plenty of hell over the last 100 years, you know, and we haven't learned a bloody thing from it. It's like, wake up. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. That's a start. And you got to understand that's a risk. It's just that people can't talk, they're afraid to talk, or they don't know what to say. And those are real problems. So if you're reasonably articulate, like, start talking and sharpen yourself up. Be afraid, but be afraid of the right thing. And the right thing you should be afraid of is not saying what you say, because that's the same as not being. And here you are, suffering away. You might as well be at the same time. At least then there's something to you.
It's good.
I know, so good, right?
It was good.
So good, because we're always afraid to, you know, and I don't like the term "speak your truth" because that's a little, you know. I'm a Gen Xer, so, you know, I believe there is, I fall in the belief that there is a truth, you know, the truth, not your truth, you know. But you know, you filter that through the lens of who you are,
Right.
and you know what you have to offer, which is a lot. And I think that's part of what we go through now is, you know, communication has taken this weird turn with social media, right? there are, okay. And as we know, men and women are different, right? Can we agree that, there are differences?
Yes.
And so growing up as a man, there is always that undercurrent of, in the back of your mind, that if you don't approach and speak correctly to the person you're across from, there's always that threat of physical violence, because that's how men deal with things, right? And with women, it takes a whole different form, right? Women don't usually become physically violent. It becomes, backstabbing and talking behind somebody's back and reputation, and or making them just feel bad about themselves. I mean, you really want to make a female feel bad, So is that what you plan on wearing tonight? Hmm. Hmm. But but you ask me that, I'm like, well, yeah. But so it's exactly what I'm wearing. But then you get on social media, and none of that really matters anymore. You can become that keyboard warrior and say over Twitter or over Facebook or whatever the heck you want. You can tell people how stupid they are and ugly and and just be just outright mean and hateful, and there's really no repercussions, right?
Right.
In fact, I think it's encouraged to be as nasty and ugly as you can on social media. And so the normal respect people have for each other, for whatever reason it is, whether you're gonna hurt someone's feelings or you're afraid, if I go to another guy and say some of the things that some people say on Twitter, I'd get punched in the mouth. And I would probably have it coming. So, so that's part of the weird thing about communication. We've reached a point in the last, I don't know, 2 decades, that it just seems to be not this, not, and hopefully there will be, because it's like an overcorrection. Hopefully we'll correct back to the right place, which is Chiquita's like, no,
It's
there's no
lost.
correction.
We lost it. It was in our grandparents' time, and it wasn't passed down, so it's lost. So how it's going to come back, I have no idea, because then whatever you said meant something. You wouldn't hurt the person who you was talking to. It wasn't normal for you just to say whatever you wanted to say. Now you can just say what you want to say without any regard.
Manners.
Huh?
Yeah, with like respect your manners, or
Yes.
like fear of what
Yes.
any repercussion.
Right. Now it's whatever you feel. It's however you feel. Say what you feel, because it's right, regardless of who it hurt.
Well, and I grew up at a time, and I don't know, Chiquita might be the same way. I think, Amanda, you're a little bit younger than we are, but the second word out of my mouth whenever I was talking to adult better have been sir or ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
It just was.
Yes.
And you didn't get to say okay or whatever.
No.
Or so.
So, because I used to tell my kids this, and I got it from my dad, which is, if you were disrespectful, the only advice my dad had for me was, do not go into the light.
I understand that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they tell you that at when you're your last moments of dying and you see a tunnel of light and you go into it. Yeah. If you're ever disrespectful around my house, just don't go into the light, because
I got you.
because there were going to be some repercussions.
Yes.
Yeah, my dad was in the Navy, so we were pretty straight and narrow.
My dad was an old jarhead, and you
Yeah.
know, and I'm an old soldier. And one of the things my kids still tell stories about this, you know, because there was some, you know, I didn't raise them quite to that strict of a standard, but like the car never moved till everybody had their seatbelt on.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You didn't get to touch your seatbelt until the car was in park. That was just the rule.
Right.
That was my
Right.
dad's rule too.
And then my kids still tell stories because I would put the car in park and we go to Walmart. I'd look around, you know, I tell them you're going to be on your best behavior. You don't ask for anything, and you
Mhm.
definitely don't touch anything.
Right. Right.
You know, there's a direct way to, you know, to act out in public, and that was not it.
Yes.
Interrupting adults when they were speaking.
Oh no, that's absolute no.
I mean, my mom wouldn't even stop talking when she would just give you 5 across the eyes, send you flying across the room, and still never continue your conversation with one of your aunties, you know.
Right. Right.
You know. Well, and then we went over to the store, and when we got there,
Right. Right. You shouldn't have been in the conversation anyway.
no, you
Us,
stand
you
there
should have been in the
quietly so
room.
someone notices you.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
So, but anyway, does anyone have anything to add, take away? Everybody good?
Well, see, it's a lot of nonverbal communication going on now. It's nonverbal. You just know, like you just assume now. When you might say one word and then it's read into. So and it's nonverbal. You didn't speak it. It's just thought up, and that has become truth now. So it's verbal and nonverbal communication going on.
Well, and if you're anything like me, or my wife knows it, I'm the world's worst liar. So it's and that flows into, if somebody says something I don't agree with or I have something to say about, you can just read it on my face. And because you know, then I'll get the nudge from my wife, stop it. Because I'm somewhere and I'm like, you
Right.
all right? Oh, no, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. But or my 4-year-old grand, soon to be 4-year-old, you know, when he gets mad at you, you're not my best friend. But so but yeah, no, it is nonverbal, and you can tell when, you know, if you look out for those clues, you can tell people's, you know, by facial expressions, by the way they carry themselves, how they'll move in towards you or away from you, turn away, cross their arms, open themselves up, to whether or not, you know, they're agreeing, disagreeing, understanding. You know, nonverbal communication is real important. If you ever get to pay attention to that, you'll learn real quickly from people how they really feel.
Yes. True.
Well, everybody has their 30 points for today, or their 25 points for showing up and 30 points for discussions. So all you have left is we stop sharing the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, because I want to see. So now we're just on chapter, was it 4, 6, and 7 in the assignments. If you don't like your grades on any of the assignments, I'm looking here, like chapter 3 for you, Amanda, and maybe even for you, Chiquita. If you want to take any of those over, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, you know, if you want to take any of those over. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I know it was, though, because I was falling asleep while I was doing it.
Well, if you want to retake it, send me an email. I'll delete it out of there. You can keep the 14.
It's okay.
Jesus Christ, idiot.
Cool.
You can keep the 40 million. You can keep the score. but that allow you to go back and try to retake it if you want to. If not, you move because your grades, it hasn't killed your grade, and you can just move on forward and then maybe go back later and maybe try to re-up your grade if your final grade isn't what you want it to be, and you know, go back. So it's up to y'all, just however you
Okay.
want to handle it. You just let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me go ahead and stop the recording, which